Welcome everybody. What we're looking at here today is our nursery space. Last year this was all let to grow up, but we had put all these different pots of strawberries, there's cherry trees and apple trees, and then we've been filling it out with more peaches that we've got. We even got a couple of blueberries. I think this is actually another peach as well that we had gotten from a nursery in New York. But anyways, we have all this times like 3 that we had all the way over here. You can see some here. And what the problem was is as the grasses grew up in between everything, it got hard to really see what was going on. And some of these maples started to shade out what was growing in the nursery. So now I got to try and figure out, can I still use this space? My first step was to move everything out and then mow it. And I kind of like the idea of keeping a pathway there. But is it possible for me to line up the pots on the outside and maybe have a walkway? So even if I do that and I create some sort of walkway and put the pots on the side and against that back thing, and then on this side and I have a walkway here and a walkway in, I kind of just run a mower in, and that at least keeps down some of the grass and makes it accessible. And then I could prune these at about shoulder height, pollard or whatever you call it, and they can branch out and still grow. They just won't be overwhelmingly shading things out. So let's say I did that. That would work, I think, if that's all the pots I had. Unfortunately, I have quite a bit more. So here's a whole other batch of trees and strawberries. You can see they're very, very happy. That spot is actually a full sun area once I trim those maple trees. But I have all these. Then I have all these pots of strawberries and associated whatever else has started to grow in there that we had pulled from there. And that's another project, but we had just sheet mulched that. But we have all of these, plus not only have we started buying more plants, these are $25 blueberry bushes from Menards. We've also gotten some tomato plants and ice plants and all sorts of things that we've started propagating. And that's actually a big problem for us because we've been propagating strawberries and we've done some blackberries. These are potatoes in here. And I need to get all this stuff off of my driveway. This is supposed to be a parking space for my vehicles. And then of course we have the chickens, which are super happy. It's kind of nice, all the youngins are all grouped together. You got 6 of them here this spring. Not quite laying yet, but they're being watched over by Mama Bird here, and Grumpy Gus in the background. So right next to all the chickens is where we have even more pots. These are all red currants and then black currants, or vice versa. And these were all started a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month ago, as cuttings. And they're growing really well in the conditions they're at. And that's really, really cool, and we'll be able to start selling them maybe in the fall. I just want to make sure they have a good set of roots on all of them first. And that's one of the other issues. For one, I'm kind of limited on space, so do I expand that original area? The other thing is I need accessibility, which I think won't be a problem because I can make that center pathway. I have pathways around it. The other thing is the turnover. So let's say I'd sell 20 of these 40 plants, then I'll have like kind of a blank spot, but in the meantime, if I already propagated another 40 plants, you know what I mean? I need to make some room for expansion. So I'm gonna think about it. Maybe we'll just walk back over there, and if you guys have any ideas, one thing I would like to have is for all of it to be in one area, because they're in pots, and I can't always put them in the largest pots, and I can't always put them in a fabric pot. So I will need to water them every 3 days is probably the max. We kind of keep an eye on the soil condition itself, but every 3 days if it's not raining here, which will be all of July and most of August. So that's like 2 months we'll have to water it every day. And watering all in one spot is a lot takes a lot less time, I guess. It's a lot easier, simpler. I don't have to walk around and have an uncrimpable hose crimp on me 17 times, so it lowers the frustration level of watering. So I wonder if I should just, yeah, so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna put all these in that wheelbarrow. That's what I was kind of thinking of before. Get all these, at least bring them over there, and then we can start getting them in place, see if I need to clear another area or not. Okay, I think we got something really good going here. We got just about all the trees and bushes and blueberries, and these are little peaches here. I've tried to group them together, so here's my microphone. We've tried to get some peaches together. We only have a couple of apples. We put those right side by side, but we made it so there's a pathway I can at least walk and mow down. And on either side, we got some asparagus. Kind of wrap these currants around, but I put like red on one side and then black on the other. And then this plum-cot tree always falls over, so it's a proper spot for it. We have a couple of pine trees and things like that. And then with the addition of this mowed little way here, I think we have pretty good access. I even mowed this a little bit wider because I only have 2 pear trees, and that little grow bag is so big. I mean, I don't even know. I mean, we'll have to do something with these 2 pear trees, but I'll get the other pear tree over. We'll still have the regular walkway, and then we'll have access to most of our nursery stock. The only thing I didn't add, well, I guess in the video you saw me trimming some of these maple trees, and it was interesting how much easier it was to trim these. It was a lot easier to trim these than it was to trim like my peach and pear trees in the spring. I guess I just found that I didn't have as much value for these maple trees as I did for the pear and peach. I guess there's more riding on that. But yeah, just coming through and just chopping it down. Got rid of a lot of the lower branches, and oh, I guess I missed one. I'll just chop that off, and so that way there's still different trees in here. I don't mind there being trees, just try not to shade anything out and give me access. Yeah, like it'd be kind of cool if that keeps growing and ends up being a little maple bush about 6 foot tall. I think that'd be cool. Now to kind of round this video out, I'm going to show you a couple things that I haven't found a place for, but it's mostly this goose foot. I have a number of that stuff potted up, and then over here, other than this other pear tree, I have a bunch of mix of strawberries and then the snow in the summer, and that's pretty much, I mean, it's done flowering and all that, and it just turns that kind of that brown kind of sad color, but they're in the individual pots. And oh, apparently there's raspberry in that one too, so I guess we'll find a place for the raspberry. And I think we'll probably end up putting all these strawberries, including these. That'll have to be figured out at a later time because it's extremely hot out here and I'm tired, so we'll get inside to where it's cool and edit and load this up. So thank you for watching. I hope this kind of helped. If anybody was thinking about starting their own nursery, you can kind of go in stages, and it takes a bit of work and maybe some creativity, but it's I mean, it's definitely interesting. It gets me outside, moving in the sun, gives me more excuses to hang out with grumpy Gus, because if I don't want to give him hugs every day, he gets real grumpy, you know. So yeah, we will see you next time. All right, bye bye, Lucy. Bye bye.